Meology book. I've got to say out like friends. And then when he's back in his case and this, I'm not taking that one. Even a fall. And that's nothing better.
Oh, Martin, come out there. Go down there. Well, we're going to still wait right now. We're not waiting for no more still. What? Just came out of the Moving now. No, it's still up the top. You have to crash right in. No, there's no place.
things to do before we are ready to cast. It won't be very long. And then once we get our engine started, we'll be tacking out. We'll take off, I think, towards the northwest. Short sector. Take the opportunity of carrying an extra crew member to provide you with information about the aeroplane. In the cabin and also working extremely hard on fuel purposes this morning will be the cabin crew led by
on both sides of the aircraft. They are clearly marked and are being pointed out to you now. There are two at the rear, two in the centre and two at the front. Lighting will be provided at floor level to help you find your way to the exit. In the unlikely event of having to use an escape slide, you must leave behind any kind of please pull the red toggle. If necessary, the air can be topped up by using this mouse key. There's also a here for attracting attention. Do not forget your life jacket until you're outside the aircraft. Thank you for your attention.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Very important information. You've got listening. And as I say, there is a card in the pocket in front of you. And you can leave that card before you depart the aeroplane so that other people can have the use of it. Now, our engines I mentioned a while ago are Rolls-Royce Olympus engines, produced up to 38,000 pounds of thrust on takeoff using reheated power. So at the end of the runway, the engines will be spooled up to their full power setting, reheats will cut in, and we'll have a very sprightly acceleration down the runway. It'll also be fairly noisy. This is quite normal on the aeroplane, and it'll only be for some 40 to 45 seconds. Because once we're airborne, climbing away through 1,000 feet, we'll be switching the reheats off and coming back to a prime power setting. This change of noise will be obvious in the cabin, and again is quite normal. And then while we start climbing away, we'll be slowly increasing the power.
Oh, look at that is what we want.
Up on the runway, just making the final flight adjustments, waiting for the air traffic clearance, and when that happens the throttles will be open and away we go. Takeoff on the aeroplane is quite entertaining, very fast acceleration, and he's nose up attitude, which is really quite high, and it looks fairly dramatic for a very short while, and then the attitude will drop as we take the power and the reheats off. So here we go, experience of Concorde takeoff. That was your first Concorde takeoff rocket return. We call that a normal day in the office, and we get a thrill out of it as well. So we're starting a left turn now. as part of the departure procedure, and climbing initially to 7,000 feet. We have the power set to a climb power setting, and gradually that will be increased as we get the higher flight levels cleared by air traffic. So now, because we're allowing the speed to increase above 280 miles an hour, we have the nose down to a 5-degree position for takeoff. This enables us to look down the nose while we're on the takeoff run down the runway, and the visor is down tucked inside the nose. And as the speed increases, we want to be streamlined to give the elegant lines of Concorde. So the nose is now in the up position, and the visor slipped up, and we're now the sharp tinsel that you have seen on many photographs. Today, as our speed increases, we'll be obviously below Mach 1 speed of sound while we're travelling over the land on those supersonic populated areas and over the ground. We're still going to accelerate to 95% speed of sound. Actually, our cruising speed is 27,000 feet. Now, as the speed increases, the phenomena which keeps us airborne is the centre of lift, the centre of pressure. This shifts rearwards on the aeroplane towards the tail, and to compensate for this, the flight engineer is moving fuel now towards the tail of the aeroplane. So the centre of pressure has gone off in time to drop the nose, so we put some weight to the tail. He's moving fuel through most of the flight to compensate for this, and then when we start our descent, the acceleration to London, we'll have to move it all the way back forward. Southwesterly direction, probably closely or fairly closely following the route of the M1 in fact. Movements on the controls, particularly at these light weights that we're at today, you get a few feelings like G-forces as we levelled off. You probably felt that just now. Crew who are busy backwards and forwards, up and down the arms. As you can see, there's not an awful lot of room, so to avoid congestion and any possible injuries to yourselves, if we do meet a little bit of turbulence as we descend in the cloud, it would be better if you remain seated for the flight.
We've got to keep it pressed in.
Takeoff roll, we use something like 20,000 kilos of fuel per hour during the takeoff run, which obviously multiplied by 4 engines is a little bit of a blustery wind. Temperature is 14 degrees centigrade, which is just a fraction under 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Our approach speed for London will be Officially 270 miles an hour, which is reduced for the initial approach speed to 220 miles an hour. And then once we reach 800 feet, which is approximately 3 miles from the runway, we reduce to our final approach speed, which today will be 180 miles an hour. And we'll be crossing the threshold edge at 180 miles an hour.
Cabin crew be advised, just under 15 minutes for landing if we're lucky. Just under 15 minutes for landing.
That was Ian Kirby, the flight engineer, informing the cabin crew we're on our way towards London. The lucky bit is not to do with the fact that we'll make it or not. The lucky bit is to do with air traffic, as this time of the day it can get fairly congested over the weekend. Then as we come over the threshold of the runway at Heathrow, the throttles will be retarded, pulled right back, and we'll be touching down at approximately 150 to 155 miles an hour. Having nose and visor have been put down again as we've reached the speed of reducing through 250 miles an hour. And for the landing, we have a second nose position. To take off, it was 5 degrees with the visor stowed in the nose. When we put the undercarriage down at some 8 miles on the approach to the runway, just to the north of Watford. That's the same as Watford Town, not the Watford Gap.
Look at that sitting up. All that. Oh, have you got a grab? Have you got no, it's got a manual fare. No. Got that ground down there. Got all that clear ground.
I don't often have the chance to sit at the back of the flight deck because I'm normally in the right-hand seat as a co-pilot on the aeroplane. But noticed yesterday, when you're standing at the back of the flight deck during the approach at the high nose attitude I've just mentioned to you, in fact you can't see the runway at all. It's only the two pilots sitting up the front operating the controls for the approach can see the runway. And even the flight engineer who is guarding the throttles and keeping an eye on the other equipment on the aeroplane, he won't see the runway either during the approach.
No, I don't think
with the aeroplane as well is we can land in foggy conditions, and we have the hands-free capability, and we can go right down to a 15-foot. Yes, you can make the approach using two autopilots, and we'll touch down and land on its own using the autopilot system. This won't be so today. We enjoy flying the aeroplane as much as we can, and I know Jeff, who has one of the autopilots in at the moment, will be probably switching the autopilot off during the approach and hand flying the aeroplane to make
having a manual landing.
He's given us two perfect landings over the last couple of days, and we're expecting a good landing today. I'm very disappointed, Jeff, if we don't get it.
Oh, I need to lift it up.
I think this is here from view for me. I can't see it now. And we will continue for another 300 feet at this speed, and then start reducing to the final approach speed. And then the nose attitude will increase very slightly.
If you'll be seated for landing now, please.
I've got. We'll find stuff and put it into the end down here.
You can rest assured a lot of people are watching your approach to landing now. So we approach the perimeter of Heathrow Airport for our landing on 09. Now we're waiting for a nice smooth touchdown, and when we have touchdown, reverse buckets will be put in place almost immediately. These deflect the thrust, and we'll get a bit of noise as the reverse thrust is increased when the nose wheel is dropped, and some fairly useful braking, so deceleration will be fairly quick, fairly noticeable, as we're just approaching the runway. Well done, Jeff, a loaded landing. Now here comes the reverse. Ladies and gentlemen, all fairly painless, isn't it? Welcome to London's Heathrow Airport, and we'll be very shortly passing on. If you could remain seated until the aircraft has stopped, and please open the doors up. There might be some slight delays. You want to party in the airplane. I know some of you like to visit the flight deck. And we're just waiting for our stand allocation. We're not sure if we've got a jetty stand yet, or if we'll be on an outside remote stand, and a bus will be taking you to your terminal now.
The ones that do happen actually happen in certain areas where by now it's starting to disregard it.
What do you think, Matt? Could you play it?
Just going now, would you please, Tina? God knows.
Where's Gina?
We dropped him off at Streatham.
Are you all right, Gina? Yes, thank you.
Never mind are you all right, Gina. I've been explaining to Gina that she's got to be more considerate to you because when you are upset, my life is hell.
I understand that, Faith. I am sorry because the rift between them.
A rift, Gina, because he ripped.
Oh, have I a sorry? I know you haven't. But she's been trying.
You got a bag to put this on?
Oh, you think that I was thinking. It seems that I'm teaching Josine. Can you mention the bathroom?
No, I don't want to tell you anything.
Have you been teaching Joe things? Yes, he's very keen to learn. He is very young, Gina. He's older than me. Is he? Good grief, is he? Oh, what? What's going on? Gina says you're older than her.
3 weeks and 2 days, yes.
How did you think to me, Gina? So much more. It's big enough. What you want to put in history?
Jeanette. Can we create some titles for that?
Not bringing a battery now.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I'm having a go. I give her it and she looked through lens first time.
You're a bit of a cuddle.
Oh, good grief. I'm going to ban room visits for residents before
How long
8
did you say?
a.m.
Send me straight away. Why are you walking about you?
Oh, I'm not getting it.
No.
That's where you're having his left there now.